Thank you for staying with us. We continue here. A court has been hailed for giving 32-year-old Nkosinathi Phakathi, who is also known as the Benoni serial rapist, a harsh sentence. Phakathi was convicted on 148 charges, including 90 counts of rape, alongside numerous other crimes. His reign of terror spanned nearly a decade, coming to an end in 2021 when he was arrested while attempting to assault a woman he had previously attacked. For more on this story, I am joined by Tebogo Mashilompane, who's a SaveSA Communications Director. Tebogo, good to have you on the program. So this sentencing of Nkosinathi Phakathi to 42 life terms is quite significant. What are your initial thoughts on the court's decision?
No, we welcome the decision, and then we have watched the judge as he deliberate on how he arrived at the decision, and we thought it's a right decision for somebody who's committed such heinous crimes, and we say no, we welcome the sentencing.
So Phakathi was described by the judge Makulumakwe as a dangerous predator. How do you interpret this characterization, especially in the context of gender-based violence in the country?
Yeah, no, I can also add and say he's a recalcitrant perpetrator because, you know, look at the people that he assaulted, children, starting with children, adults, and so forth. So we can see that this is a type of a person who cannot be rehabilitated. You know, so we are saying this is okay, this is good. Whatever he has received, it's okay.
But given the sheer number of counts against him, Tebogo, what does this case reveal about the challenges in really addressing serial sexual offences in our legal system?
Yeah, this has sent a strong message. Though, of course, it's our legal system. There's nothing we can do, because we understand that some cases will run concurrently, and we think maybe, you know, we don't support that, but it is our legal system. That's how it's been structured, and then we expect that maybe can get more, and maybe we can add something on that, because we are saying as a movement to say, you know, raping a child is actually equals to termination. You know, we know that we cancel this thing in that Makonyane case when the issue of termination, but of capital punishment. But we think if an adult rapes a child, I mean, that is not a human being, because this is a kid, this is a child, a 9-year-old child, and somebody rapes that particular child. So even though we welcome the decision because it's our legal system, but we feel that we need more harsher ways when coming to children, specifically for children. You know, people can be terminated. We support that. We support capital punishment when coming to children.
I want us to expand on that while also using references from other activists, for instance, from Not In My Name, also calling for harsher sentences for offenders just like Phakathi. Let's crystallize your point. How do you view the effectiveness of the current sentencing, especially the practices, in really deterring sexual violence as well?
No, it will do, but to some extent, you know, because people will still continue to do this. Remember, Phakathi is not the first one. We've been crying GBV, we've been crying rapes. We recently saw that issue in I forgot the name, but somewhere in Gauteng, where a Pakistani raped a 7-year-old child. And then there's another one in Atteridgeville again recently, where the man was sentenced. And remember, there are many cases that are not reported. You know, we have attended a case somewhere in Brett. That case took around 5 years without sentencing. The child, if I'm not mistaken, was around 9 or 10. So this case keeps on continuing. So it shows that, you know, to say we take you to jail or to prison, and then after 25 years you are eligible for parole. You know, some are in their 20s, some in their 30s. They still believe that they can do something. And also to add on that, to say in prison, we all know, we've seen what is happening in prisons. People are drinking whiskey, people are selling drugs, people are smoking drugs, people are having businesses inside prisons. And it's not only that prison that we saw on TV. Many prisons are doing that. People are selling cigarettes, they're making businesses while they are in prison. So that is why we are saying it does not help much, even if we try to deter these people, because end of the day, he goes there and say, I've got nothing to lose. I can still continue with certain things. There are rapes in jail. He can continue and rape people in jail. He can continue and assault other people in jail because he has nothing to lose. He's already there, and then he's in a life sentence. So he can say, why? He's 40 years. Phakathi is 40 years old. So, and then 65, and then he'll be there for until 65 years, and then that's when he can be eligible. And then that does not necessarily mean that to be eligible for parole means you are going to be offered the parole. No, they can still say no. So obviously, when you are there and then you come out after 70 years from prison, I mean, life is gone. So you have an opportunity in prison to do even extra things that you've been doing outside. So we are saying any person who rapes a child should be terminated. That is our call. We are very firm on that one. We say terminate any person who rapes a child, as long as there's a prima facie evidence. You can terminate that particular person, because this is somebody, not necessarily him alone, but people who will keep on repeating. You know, they come out, some they get 10 years sentence, they come out, they continue with whatever that they were doing. So why must we keep such people in our community? We terminate those people because they cannot be rehabilitated. When a judge says this person cannot be rehabilitated, why do we think we can rehabilitate that particular person?
I'm very interested in the points that you make, but for the sake of time, I want us to move on a bit.
Yeah.
The state also withdrew 55 charges against Phakathi before the trial. What implications does this have then for the victims and the overall pursuit of justice in cases of sexual violence?
Yeah, you see, that's the issue, because lack of proper investigation is also a problem, because issues are there's no evidence, but you find that the person committed those crimes, but because of lack of evidence, the person goes free. So as I said before, it's our legal system, the way it's structured. And then at the moment, there's nothing we can do until we change our legal system to something else. Because at the moment, no evidence, you cannot be arrested. We've seen stories where people shoot people and kill them. And we see them on videos, but you'll be so shocked. They come out, they say, no, but there's no evidence. You see, so we need to go and look deeply into our legal system. We're very quick to move away from the laws that were there. I'm not saying those were right laws, but I'm saying we should have went step by step and try to see those that are supposed to remain and those that are not supposed to remain, so that we can deter people from committing such particular crimes.
Yeah. But Phakathi's crimes, if you look at his modus operandi, he targeted his victims in very vulnerable situations, often in their homes sometimes. What measures can be taken to, call it, better protect potential victims in such environments? Yeah,
you know, South Africa, our background is it's a problem. People stay in villages, people stay in places where there are no street lights, people stay in places where you cannot see a police van patrolling. So it's a problem. You know, we established something in around Madibeng where people patrol, they take people to taxis in the morning and so forth, because there were attempts of robbery, there were even robberies, because there are no police vans. You know, if the police can be visible, you know, and understand that in certain areas, not all black people have cars to go to work. People work in firms, people work in factories. They wake up early, around 4 o'clock, they run to taxis, they run to buses and trains, and nobody's accompanying those people. But if police can be visible all the time, because we expect that police must work 24 hours, but you find that for the next 7 days, you've never seen a police van in the morning, and then obviously we are not going to deal with this particular crime, criminals, because they find it easy, because nobody scares them, and they are there, and people are vulnerable, of course, like the instance where this man Phakathi pretended to be working with these people, and then after all, he accosted the child and took the child to a shack and raped the child. So these are the social problems that we are facing as a country, especially in black communities.
Also interesting, Tebogo, is that the sentence included adding Phakathi to the National Register for Sex Offenders. How crucial is this step in really preventing future crimes?
Yeah, it is good to list, but to be honest, it doesn't necessarily stop people from doing that, especially people who you cannot rehabilitate. At least somebody who can be rehabilitated, it's something, but somebody who cannot be rehabilitated, even if you put them there, you're not stopping them from doing anything, because when you put somebody there, it's like you blacklisted them. So those people have nothing to do anymore. They say we are blacklisted, and then what else can we do? Let's continue with what we can do, because anyway, we've got nothing to lose. So we also need to look into this. It's okay. We cannot say it's not a good thing to do, but we must also look at the advantages and disadvantages, because most of the time we take decisions based on emotions to say we are doing this now, but we don't want to look into the implications after. Because when somebody is being blacklisted, what more do you expect from that particular person?
Yeah. But what role do you think community awareness and also education play in preventing incidents of sexual violence, especially among young people?
We really need to work hard. The government should work hard and invest more on awareness, not so that people can, but you know what, this is the problem. The kids and the youth are taught in school. There's subjects like LO where they teach these people. So the biggest problem is the background. We need to invest much on the background of a person, and you'll be told there are no resources, but we need to invest much, because some of the people who commit these things, you trace them back from school, the level of anger from primary to high school, even dropouts. And surprisingly, this guy, he passed matric very well. So, but there were anger issues, especially when it comes to the issue of the father, where the mother refused to tell him who the father is. And then he's a seventh child, and they are 8, but the father is different. So that is also the family issue. We need to invest much on social education, and then we call on families, to be transparent with their children, to tell them the truth, because it's not good also for somebody to grow up with anger, and then no psychologists, no social workers, nothing. It is also problematic, especially in our country, in townships and villages.